Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing...
In this bulletin, lack of male participation disappoints minister. FNU records healthy enrollment numbers. And sales pick up for Kandabo vendors.
The studios of FBC Suva.
And Rubinaka Fiji, while sexual violence against women and girls remains a serious concern, a rape analysis carried out by the Fiji Women's Rights Movement reveals that the age of the perpetrators and the victims are getting younger and younger. Out of the 81 cases of rape decided in the high courts around the country last year, the age of the youngest accused was 14 years, while the oldest was 78 years old. Pranita Prakash reports in 4 out of the 81 cases, the complainant was a person with a disability.
Disturbing figures have emerged following an analysis carried out by the Fiji Women's Rights Movement.
The average age of the victim survivor is around 14 years. The youngest victim survivor was 3 years, and the oldest victim survivor was 83 years. And in 63% of the cases, the victim survivor knew the perpetrator.
There is a general consensus that more urgency is needed from everyone to address the issue.
Such cases of violence against women is fostering in an environment where gender equality, where women and girls are not seen as equal, where we see the patriarchal notions of how what women and girls' place is in society.
I would really encourage every single parent to be very hyper vigilant and to be a very active part of their children's lives, and to foster an environment of safety and comfort at home, so that you would be motivating your children to access your support first.
Change needs to happen everywhere, from the national level to within our families, homes, schools and churches and on the streets, because the perpetrators are not strangers. They are from our own communities. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
There was no participation from men on 7 islands in Lau during the first round of the consultation for the formulation of the National Action Plan for the Prevention of Violence Against Women and Girls. Following a week-long trip organized by the United Nations, several invitations were sent out, but men showed no interest in attending the consultation. The Minister for Women and her team, despite the satisfaction that women were able to share their stories, says the involvement of men is important in addressing the issue.
Minister Mereseni Wuniwanga says the need to expose the roots of violence is important in solving the issue.
The heart of it is gender inequality, but you will find when women tell their stories, it's a lot of reasons that they gave. It can be homebrew, it's fighting over money.
Disappointed with the turnout from men, the minister says plans are also to host separate discussions with men.
I'm not so sure that I would have gotten the same feedback from women if their husbands were sitting there. Men will become a voice as well in this National Action Plan.
UN Resident Coordinator Sanaka Samarshina says more resources are needed to address violence.
The hopelessness of a woman, a child, and it may not be a girl, sometimes it may be a little boy, and this is one of the things I want to also advocate more strongly about, is the connection between child protection and protection of women and girls. There's a lot of synergies there that we need to work on.
162 women took part in the consultation. Another key highlight noted is that reconciliation of cases is handled in the traditional village way and not under the law. Apenisonga Ndobu, FBC News.
Despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Fiji National University has seen a healthy enrollment program this year. FNU's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Toby Wilkinson, says they are offering packages and financial assistance to students to make it easier for them to get enrolled in the university. The Vice-Chancellor says students can get enrolled and access grants after meeting the criteria. Wilkinson says they have added some new programs to fill the skills gap in the economy.
So we're constantly refreshing and renewing our portfolio of programs to take account of labour market needs, where there are skills gaps in the economy, and we're moving very quickly to fill those gaps with new programs so that students can graduate with skills that are needed for today's jobs.
Business for market vendors at Wunisea Kadavu is starting to pick up following tropical cyclones Yasa and Ana last month. Supported by UN Women, the market now has 40 vendors from around the island selling fresh produce and generating enough income to get through this difficult period. Kelly Badala reports.
This is some of the produce villagers were able to harvest in a short period of time after the two storms.
We're trying to bounce back after Yasa and Ana. Even though we may lack some root crops or produce and may need to get it from other outer islands, we are adjusting to it. We are going out fishing and selling seafood as well, which is helping us get through the day.
Moses Tuvodi says after the two cyclones severely affected their farms, they were buying some of their produce from Suva.
We have people here who depend on certain produce at the market. We as vendors try to support and encourage each other so business can flourish later. We know some fruits and vegetables are not available on the island, but we're adjusting.
Vendors at Taita Vunivalu says even though business is slow at times, they're fortunate now to be able to supply produce to Suva.
Business is picking up well compared to the previous month. We are supplying back to Suva and we are happy to be growing vegetables and root crops on the island again. It's a healthy sign that we are recovering slowly.
The vendors usually work together with small boat owners who transport produce purchased on Kadavu to nearby islands. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The installation of color-coded number plates for taxis in the Central and Eastern Divisions have been delayed for over 5 months. Land Transport Authority Chief Executive Samuel Simpson says the delay is due to the various processes that have to be followed. Simpson adds almost every taxi operators in the Greater Nandi and Lautoka areas are with the color-coded number plates.
We have almost completed Nandi and Lautoka. There are 2 zones in Lautoka and Nandi plates. We will then move down to the Central and Eastern area, and you will start to see orange coloured plates appearing down in the Central Eastern.
Up ahead, all BPL matches postponed and new clubs join Suva Volleyball. Stay with us.
Oirna ngone no de nunu enda bisi ni mataka.
Mersusunga da keno loma dina kino mikron.
Sakena ngauna mitarlo bina nora baksangai ka wala loma takina ngone. Dalabina oya wo meliki.
Bulre oya wo Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikira enda be mataka.
Oniti kina magrombuka.
Ni waitini kalimana miniti me ono kina tini na kaloko. Ena radio Fiji One nandomo ibiti.
Pinda pinda na mataka. Dan ramana singabo.
Welcome back. The Vodafone Premier League matches scheduled for this weekend have been postponed to next week. The tournament was scheduled to begin on Saturday, along with the Fiji Football Association's Women's Super League. Fiji FA Chief Executive Muhammad Yusuf says they are sorting out some logistics and have decided to delay the start of National League considering the groundworks and stadium renovation that is being done in Lambasa. Yusuf adds they could start the league matches for the remaining districts, but that would affect the entire competition schedule for the year. Yusuf is encouraging the fans to endure patience. Sebastian the Sniper Singh is working on maintaining his weight before the much-anticipated fight against Ratu Ndobana in the South Pacific boxing promotion. Singh is hoping to redeem himself in his upcoming bout on March 20th after losing twice to Ndobana in their last encounter. The former Fiji middleweight boxing champion says he has put in the hard yards, but it will all be determined in the ring come match day.
We've been working hard. We've been working on things that needed attention from the last fight, correcting our mistakes from the last fight, and we know that our opponent is not going to be easy. He's I would say he's hard-headed. You know, he can take a shot. He can give a shot also.
Ratu Sukuna Memorial School is faced with a major challenge this season as they prepare for the Super Zone 1 title defense. The defending champions are now looking for potential athletes to represent the school, given that majority of the key athletes have left for further studies. Head of Department PMAC, Jane Danford, says a major blow is the departure of some of the athletes in the junior and intermediate grades to other schools.
We have lots of new athletes this year. Most of our athletes had gone. So we are hopeful to improve on our performance this year and also in our preparation for the zone.
2 Tamavua-based clubs have joined the Super Volleyball Association with the hope of revamping its club. The Celtics team was a household name in the local volleyball associations, but the club died down over the years. However, the passion for the sport lived on, with youngsters now rebuilding the team. On a similar mission, neighbors Green Valley is cut for some much-needed exposure.
We have a lot of things in our Ayasa, but they're all playing for Delmesi, so this little group here, we thought we could start a team that's going to come and play in Suba. So yeah, we just thought about it and put together a group of boys that aren't playing for any team.
Elders have seen us playing volleyball, but for fun, so I think they wanted to bring back the history that the team has in the Volleyball Association.
We can expect a generally fine day and expect some showers over some of the major centers. From the afternoon towards the evening, there is a slim chance of isolated thunderstorms. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।